Intro for a little bit longer. That was a vibe right there.
For real, give me some wine or something,
Yeah.
man. Hey, we get back to chilling. You know what I'm saying? Laying back.
I like that. So welcome everybody to Facts Over Feelings this evening, one wonderful Tuesday night. Thank everybody for tuning in. As we talked about last week, and as many of you may have seen the flyer, the promotion for tonight's episode, we're going to be discussing the big, beautiful bill again, and we're going to be having some lighthearted discussions on that bill from the other side, as the phrase used to go. My friends from across the aisle. You don't hear that phrase anymore in our politics, but I do have a friend here, Mr. Travis Clark, who I believe is an avowed conservative.
Yes, conservative.
Okay,
yes,
all right.
conservative,
So
conservative.
a black conservative at that. So you don't see too many of them out here like that. So
Right.
I'm glad we could find
And
one.
outside. You
And
know what I'm
outside.
saying? I say I came out the closet.
And he came out the closet.
Came out the closet. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, yeah. So you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so we're going to hear from Mr. Travis on his perspective in regards to that bill that just passed, and I'm going to chime in, and I know Tay going to chime in with her stuff, and hopefully you all out there can comment and chime in and ask some questions, and we're going to see how this goes. Again, we don't have a script. We're just going to go at it, and as they say, come what may.
Yeah, just
So-
like my pastor say from Evolve, you know, said it's gonna be uncut, you know, unedited. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
real. You know, so this one, yeah, we're gonna be 100 on this. It's something important conversation. You know, I think it's, you know, I thank you for inviting me to come out and speak about this historic signing of this legislation by President Trump. I think it's an important conversation.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It's going to affect everyone, right?
Oh, yeah.
So you know, hey, you know, let's lay out the ground facts
Okay.
on what needs to be, how we need to look at this as a community and a black community. You know, my perspective is coming. I just want to make sure we understand that my perspective is definitely coming as an individual that look like me, black man.
All
All
right.
right, go
And
ahead.
so I do want to start out with one quick question for you. As a conservative, you do rock with Trump.
Yes, I do like some of the things that Trump does and some of the policy. I'm a more policy guy. So when people say rock with an individual,
Mm-hmm.
yes, I do like some of the policy and the directions and the things that he is doing as president. I
Okay.
believe that we're long overdue to have a president that that has engaged and started the conversation of a lot of things that's been going on in America.
Okay. So as it pertains to the bill that was just passed that you just talked about, what is your perspective as a black man with that bill? What do you feel that what benefits do you think that is coming from that bill to a black man?
Well, you know, when you say, okay, yeah, you're right, to a black man. And coming from and looking at the element of where I came from and the experience, you know what I'm saying, I only can say in my element. So one of the big portion of the bill that I do like as a single black man raising boys, you know what I'm saying? I got 5 kids here.
Oh man.
And I'm involved in making sure that the mothers are financially taken care of as they make sure. And I have to work.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I got to go out to work. I'm not sitting at the crib. I'm at to work.
Gotcha.
Sometimes I got to work 2 jobs.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I'm a union guy. I was head of the union at Briggs and Stratton. I was there 19 years.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Negotiated contracts.
Okay.
And I can tell you right now, with that bill, as a black man that's in the manufacturing sector and looking at what happened with Master Lock, Briggs and Stratton, Harley Davidson, and all these other companies that really built the middle class, especially the black man, I can tell you the contract stuff we negotiate. Any union person will tell you was the overtime to make sure because that helped us. You know, that helped me pay my child support. Like all the money that I looked at, I was able to do overtime because our product was being sold.
Okay.
Briggs and Stratton we did overtime. And then you get that paycheck and then you pay Uncle Sam a lot of money. So you really don't want to do it. But what that bill allowed us to do with us to be able now to claim up to, you know, $12,500 if you're married, y'all both work in that particular area, $25,000 together. Now we can get benefits, and that actually helps the Black, especially the working Black man that does do overtime out there to help stimulate the extra income from the family, from the household.
Okay, so you're saying, just to break it down for folks, the portion of the bill is going to, like the no tax on overtime.
So the no tax on overtime.
You feel that is going to really do some wonders for folks that have to do overtime.
Yeah, that's going to do wonders for individuals in especially the manufacturing sector, the hourly employee, not the salary, of course, but we're talking about the hourly employees. And we have a lot of people that are hourly employees and union people. That is going to do a great benefit, and that's coming from a union member that negotiated contracts. That is definitely a key element that anybody that's in the union that does overtime, because sometimes we hold back because we don't want to go into that next tax bracket.
Okay.
Now, you know what I'm saying, with that incentives with the no tax on overtime, now that gives us the opportunity to get that money back at the end of the year and claim it.
So question to you, excuse me, in regards to that particular instance where you can deduct, is there a certain tax bracket that you have to hit, or is there a certain area that you have to hit in order to be able to claim the taxes off of that tax bracket?
Well, overtime is overtime. So it's not.
No, that's not true.
Huh?
That's not true.
Okay, what I'm saying, overtime is overtime. I'm not saying now you got to make $30,000 a year. You know, the 18, the lower part. But what I'm saying, if you're doing overtime, you know what I'm saying, and you meet this threshold to claim it, of course that's going to benefit you. A lot of the people in the individual in the lower part of the spectrum of the income that provides those income and pay taxes and get those large refunds at the end of the year. You know what I'm saying? Yes, those individuals, you know, if they do overtime and they're not making that, but of course you're not going to be able to claim that overtime because you're making that element. Which you're not going to want to do that element anyway, because if you make more money, you do all the overtime, it's going to take you out of your benefits. Because you got to remember, you got to stay within a certain income ratio to even receive your benefits.
Right. So wouldn't that be misleading though?
What you mean? Would that be misleading?
That's misleading because it caps at $75,000. They want you to put everything that you grossed in that. Claim that on your taxes because you'll end up being over the amount.
So if I made
claim it.
Right, so if I made $50,000, say okay, so when I worked at Briggs and Stratton, I made about between $45,000 and $50,000 a year. Okay, 10 to 15.
Was that over? Is it overtime?
Nope.
That's
So
your base
right.
stuff.
So
Okay.
So $10,000 to $15,000 of that add $10,000 to $15,000 of that
For
in
the
overtime.
taxes, you saying for taxes?
Overtime. For overtime.
Add more?
Right, add more.
So 65,000?
So around $62,000 with the overtime that we did.
Okay.
I would be able to claim that.
No.
Yes, I would.
Listen.
Just look at it.
So that's what I'm telling you. So
Right.
it caps at 75. The average person nowadays.
I'm not making 75.
But you're talking about
It
back
doesn't-
in
it doesn't
You're
cap.
talking about back in the day.
Right, but it doesn't.
misleading.
So you said it started at 75?
No, I'm saying it starts. Yeah, you'll be out of it at 75. So anybody that makes 75,000 or more wouldn't be able to take advantage of that deduction.
Yes, they would. Yes, they would.
No.
The deduction amount goes down.
You
Look
gotta
at- when you
look
look at the
you
bill.
You gotta look. I look
Right.
at.
Okay. Well,
Right.
so
You
what
gotta
it's
look at
read,
it.
so
So-
read exactly what the bill says.
So you're.
But in the-
I don't have the bill in front of me.
right, in
But
the
prior
element-
to us coming here, I
Right.
reviewed
Right.
it. So
Okay.
what I'm saying is, it's one of those situations where they do a bill and it's a bunch of nice stuff for single issue voters, and then you go and you say those things, and
Right.
you're misleading because you're leaving out a lot of fine print.
Because
But
people hear
the
that-
bill, the thing about what I tell everybody when they say the fine print, the bill is public record. If you want to read it, go read it.
But that's
But-
misleading too.
How's that?
Because
Do,
we have to
do you know
realize,
the amount of
brother,
people?
It's 900 pages. Yes, I
Do
get
you know
that.
the amount of people that don't comprehend well or
Right.
are illiterate?
and I was just gonna say that, you gotta realize that-
I
you gotta realize
totally
that-
get what you understanding
Right.
that. But at the end of the day, and you know how they say put stuff in book and people won't read it?
Right.
Right, exactly. So at the end of the day, if the government is open like it is and it's putting everything out there that's saying that in this particular bill, so the American people can look at that and everybody dissect it how they want to dissect it, right? So let's take, even though we're talking about the overtime aspect of it, let's look at, no one said anything about if you had a baby January 1st, that you go to the nearest bank and open up an account, then the government put $1,000 in there. And then you're able as an individual to put $5,000 in there. And then it grows. So then now that account is there for that baby when they can't get it till they get 18. And then money grows. That's money to the government. So nobody's talking about that.
You believe that?
What you mean?
So this is the
I
thing.
just,
Why would I not believe
No,
in the business?
No, listen. Listen.
Why would I not believe?
They're the people. So when this all started, the
Right.
whole election, what
Right.
were the people, everyday people saying?
What
were
do you
they
mean?
saying?
Prior to the election?
What were their gripes?
Yeah.
What were their gripes that Trump led with? What were the gripes?
Immigration. What's
Okay.
their gripe?
should
Job
be worried
loss.
about.
What's their gripe?
Okay.
Right?
Uh-huh.
Inflation. What's their gripe?
Inflation of what?
What?
Like what? What was something that was key?
Everything. Eggs. Okay, let's just say eggs.
Eggs
Eggs,
are
nothing but-
groceries.
Let's
Eggs
do
are
eggs and groceries,
They
yes.
said bills were high.
Right.
Correct.
Exactly.
Trump said, "I'm going to get all of that down." Right.
Correct.
They said we can't eat, we can't do what we need to do.
Right.
So my question to you is, you like, oh, you had that baby. Because
Right.
now, because think about it too. Because now, why are we having more babies?
Right.
Because I said I can't feed myself.
Right,
Why
because
am
people
I
are at
having
home
more-
chilling at home doing nothing,
That-
laying up,
that's-
having sex.
see,
But go
no,
ahead, though.
That's not true.
Yes, go ahead. You said why we having more babies.
Well,
But
he's
go ahead.
encouraging them to have babies.
Right,
They told you
but
they
get
can't.
married. We want you to.
Yeah.
But go ahead. We want you. We
No,
want marriage
okay.
between. We want you
That's
to.
That's my
Okay,
question.
How's that?
and
We
you know
want
what?
man and woman to get together and have
Hold
a baby. We want to do
And
this.
see,
That don't make
but see, that's the issue right there, though, brother. I have
What, brother?
with
What?
being-
Which one? What?
I have issue with that. I have issue with that.
Which one?
What you just said
What I say?
about marriage got to be like this and got to be like that. That's a
Why do you
personal
have an issue with that?
because we can't tell people
Right.
how to live their life.
Right.
Because we do live in America.
Right.
Where our slogan is land of the free,
Right.
home of the brave.
Right.
Right. So you should be able to have the choice
Right.
to live the way you
Look,
want to.
Look, my thing on and
Which
we-
I'm a
Right.
Christian.
Right, and
Well, I do believe
right.
in the foundation.
Okay, now I'm gonna say, hold on, right? Okay, I'm glad you
Now,
brought
I
that up.
I've been
I'm
married for I'll be married 16
So
years.
so you so
Come on.
so do you be like do you believe so since you're a Christian do
Yeah.
you believe is life is at the time of conception?
No.
You don't.
No.
That's so you said that's not a gift of God. That's not you don't believe that's nothing. So you believe it only is alive when it comes out the womb.
Correct.
When do you get your social security number?
Okay.
When do you get?
But that's man. I'm talking about God.
When do you get your?
That's man.
We talking
Right, but
about
I'm
You,
not-
when you,
but
when
we
you get
can't-
born, but I'm
listen,
talking about
but-
man,
right,
by God.
But these are all personal feelings.
Right,
and
Right. And see, the problem
but-
is
but-
that you're putting, but the problem is what I have with this version of the Republican Party
Right.
is that you cannot put your personal values,
Yeah.
your personal beliefs on someone else.
So why? So that's what
That's
that's
not-
what they're gonna do. That's
No.
what that's what individual. That's what
Okay,
when you look
explain
when you
it.
look. Okay, so when you look at this, like of course, I believe, like I said, I'm a conservative. So I believe in the traditional way of creating a child. That's how I grew up. I grew up in the South,
Likewise.
like South. That's how I agree. So I mean, so that we cannot deviate from. That's the fact.
Are you
right?
married?
No, let me
Have you
finish.
been
Hold on, let me finish. Let me finish this point before we go there.
Okay, okay.
So I do believe in that element. I know that's how God created everything on this. Everything on this earth is created and born between a man and a woman.
Correct.
Okay, that we can't deviate, we can't argue that. That's facts. If I'm not thinking, it's facts over feelings. So let's just deal with facts with this show. This is facts.
These are
So,
facts.
so what I'm saying is, so we know that that's how God wanted life to be created because He gave the woman the reproduction system. He gave me the other man. So we know. So what I'm saying, if I'm a Christian, a Baptist that believes in God, so that's what I believe. I'm not pushing that on you.
But that's
I'll
what.
put
that's
it,
what-
but
that's what
you
you're doing.
push it, but you want to push this
What?
on me and say,
Push what?
I'm saying when people want to say, okay, oh, two men can get together, two women
Hey,
can get together,
no,
however they
wait,
want.
wait. Can we have context though? Are you married?
No, I'm not married.
Or were you married?
Have you ever?
No,
Never.
I said
So
I would.
you-
I said I would never get married. So let me explain that. I never get married. Yes, I have kids out of marriage, but I said I would never get married and tell a woman that I want to be with you the rest of life and want to cheat. I wasn't ready. And all my kids' mother would tell you because I believe in God. I'm not gonna go before God and say you're gonna. Today do us part unless I'm ready to do that. Granted, I had kids without of that, but when I do get married, which I'm planning on getting married.
It's too late now.
No, it hasn't too late.
It's too late
Why is that?
Of course, you are a hypocrite.
No, man.
You
I mean,
are saying-
ain't no man perfect.
You are a hypocrite.
Ask Kid. Pastor Kid. Ain't no man perfect.
Listen, we're talking about facts. You are
Right.
a hypocrite. You are telling people you
Right.
need to do this, you need to do that. Because you at home doing this, you having kids doing that. You are a hypocrite.
I mean,
you were not, you don't even follow what you preach.
What you? I mean, I'm not.
You
I
had
don't think-
5 children,
Listen,
no wife.
Listen, and you're right, and that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying I'm a perfect man, though. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. That's what
Got
the
you.
Bible say. Only thing I'm saying to that part, I know how I got here, and I don't care. Yeah, I did more than just that I wasn't supposed to do. But when it comes to that, I know how I got here. I'm not gonna because everybody know how they got here.
Yeah.
Man and woman, I'm not gonna deviate.
And that's
Lying and doing that and doing that what the Bible says you're
That's
supposed to
another
do.
story.
You're not supposed to do
My
this.
conversation is just about this bill.
Okay,
Right.
okay.
And
That's
your-
we're gonna come
and
back to now.
This bill has everything to do with your life and what
Yeah,
you're
our
pushing.
lifestyle. So-
Listen, but what you're pushing, my thing is you can relate to the people that have children and
Right.
aren't married.
Exactly.
So how dare you sit there and say the things that you're saying?
How's that when I can relate? So I only can relate to this. So me being an individual that don't like the aspect of that because of I know how I got here.
Got you.
And you say that I can't say that,
How many-
even though that
how
I'm not a perfect
How many
man.
baby mamas you have?
3.
Those are broken homes.
I know. How's that? But no.
Listen, you
You
feel-
right. You right. Hold
can
on.
feel
You know
like
what?
You're
You-
successful.
I
You
can tell you
can
that.
feel like your
You
children
right.
are doing
You-
great.
you
Those
100%.
are broken homes.
You are 100%. There are broken homes. That one thing because my daddy was never there, so I was never able to be able
You
to
come
talk.
from a broken home.
Right, so I come from a
my
broken home.
question was
So
your
he
parents-
wasn't there.
your parents
So
weren't married?
right, they wasn't married. My
Okay.
mom never. So one of my main issues that I said to myself as a black man,
You didn't
I
wanna
would
go.
never leave my kids and not be there for my kids like my daddy wasn't there for me.
Okay.
So that was one thing I know I had to do.
Okay.
And then the second thing I said, I see my mama struggle, and my dad nobody ever helped my mama. I said that none of my kids' mother would ever struggle, and I'll make
But you
sure
saw your
they're
mother
functional.
struggle.
Right. So I knew some of the things as a traditional man, a man, I can't. If you're not taught to how to be a man, and no woman can raise a man. So no woman, women feel that they can raise a man, they can't because you're not a man, so you don't know the element of being a man, so you can't.
I
raise
believe
one.
that. Yes.
So
You-
with
you
so
need a
with
man
that,
in the house.
right? So if you don't have one, just like me, I went outside to the streets of the city of Milwaukee and into the ghetto and learned the elements of what
Was
I
that
learned
hard?
from other men.
Was that hard?
No,
It was easy.
it was easy to go out there and talk to other men because
it
they
was-
want to
it was-
holler at you.
No, I'm saying when you were out there, was it an easy lifestyle or was it? what you
Is
call
it when I talk to these young boys now and
No. I just want to know about you.
it wasn't an easy lifestyle.
It wasn't.
But at some point when you look at a man is a boy is going to want to become a man because he feel like a man because of things he has to do
Would
and what he
say-
has to accomplish.
Would you say your environment could have a huge influence on that?
Yeah, it's definitely an environment. That's why I fight so hard when I look at the city of Milwaukee. For when I grew up, when it was Capitol Court, Northford,
yeah.
there was
I grew up with it too.
I worked at, like I said, Bridge and Stratton, Harley Davidson. All these jobs was here that built the middle class.
Yeah, but
You
why
had
do you
everybody.
think? But why do you think they're gone? No.
They left because of bills like the TTP that Clinton signed into bill when he was in to allow these companies to go out of the United States for a smaller tax bracket and smaller, cheaper labor. And it just grew from that. Yes. Yes. Look it up.
I don't know, man.
Yes,
I don't
it
know,
is.
my brother. I
Yes,
don't
it
know
is.
if that's. I don't know if that's entirely. I think there were aspects of that bill that allow the companies to, like you say, export, but that wasn't a driving force.
Man, look, everybody started leaving after that. Harley Davidson started shipping their jobs at Bridge and Stratton. Went down
And
south.
you said you
where it
worked
was
there for
non-union.
16 years.
19 years.
19 years.
Yes.
And you retired from there?
No, I'm at a different company now.
Oh.
Now I'm a manager at a different company now.
You somewhere? Okay.
But right,
Okay.
you know what I'm saying? And it's a large company here in the city.
Okay. Got
So the thing is, we fight so hard, especially this bill. What this bill allows them to do, it allows corporations, it allows corporations that wants to build factories here and expand their business to write that as a tax write-off in this bill.
Now I'm gonna pull up what I pulled up through CNN.
Okay.
Because it
You
gave
know CNN is going to tell one side. Man. Come on, man.
no,
They
no.
said CNN.
No.
Okay,
You have-
okay. You
It's-
gonna
it's
say
only-
flip flop.
It's only. I'm definitely pulling up Fox because and I say that. I only say that because Fox has been sued
Right.
for over $700 million for falsifying information that they
What
put
about
out. to people.
CBS and what they
And-
did
and
with
defamation.
Kavanaugh and the video? They do that,
Everybody
and
had a video.
they just paid Trump like 20 million, 16 million
Yes,
to settle the case.
the only reason why that happened, I'm telling you, the only reason why that happened
Why?
is because companies now are afraid
Right.
to speak the truth against what I call them the orange Jesus.
Wait,
Man,
before
stop.
before you get there.
So I'm finna
Do
go
you,
in.
do you truly believe in the things Trump? You see these things are a lie. I just want to know how you
Let me-
can.
so
$700
I-
million
so-
lawsuit,
so-
man. Come on.
So this is the thing when it comes to Trump and his policies.
Okay.
I truly believe as the element of how his policy and some of the decisions making that he's making.
But how's that
All
going
right,
to help the community, the
No,
black
no,
community?
I want to know. Do you truly
yes,
believe?
I truly believe
that he's
some
about
of
the people?
things that he's doing, and yes, that he really for American people. I truly believe
So
that.
you think
because what am I supposed to believe
But
when
what
my
did-
life
what did you benefit
the Milwaukee has went down, a homicide rate 200 or something. Y'all, Trump only been in office 4 years and then he back in office, so we can't put
Okay.
all this on him. But
We're not.
black people has never prospered in the city of Milwaukee. We lost everything. We lost the grocery stores, the gas stations, everything that we lost. Then we lost the jobs. So do I truly believe in somebody like Trump that's coming in and talking about the tariffs to try to help save and bring some of these jobs back?
But-
You
but
just said
hold on.
tariffs?
Not, I said
Hold on.
the tariffs.
tariffs.
The tariffs,
You
yes.
said that?
Yes, I did say that.
But brother,
He
listen.
doesn't even know what the tariffs are.
Do you?
But brother, we can't look at the federal government.
What you mean, the
Listen,
federal
hold on,
government?
hold on,
We're looking at the states.
right, but if you're talking about our community,
Right.
We are not. You don't look past the local legislators. You don't look
Why?
past our aldermen.
Why?
We talking about what Trump gonna do.
No,
What
I'm
about
not talking
your
about
local
that. It's
elected?
everything locals here. So the federal
Right.
government shouldn't even be in our conversation. The only thing the federal government, like he's doing cutting to the states, our tax dollars. We got a surplus of almost $1 billion sitting in Madison right now.
$4 billion.
Well, I'm sorry. Okay. So you know what I'm saying? So and then they worried about they worried about him cutting back on the Medicaid part when we got a surplus. If you live here, our Medicaid and Medicare is here in the state. Our education system are paid by the taxpayer. Yes, the federal government does some, and they should do a little, but it's really based on the state that you're moving to, that you want to go to. When my mom came up here to Milwaukee when I was 5, it was because she came here because the manufacturing jobs back in the 70s
Were here.
Were
Yeah.
here.
Oh, yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's where you look back then and you see how blacks build up in Milwaukee. You know what I'm saying? We are working type of individuals. Everybody's not going to go to college.
True.
So where they working at now? We sit up here fighting for $15 an hour at McDonald's and not trying to look at bringing in more industrial corporations in the state of Wisconsin. What aldermen and what they should be doing is say, okay, Trump, okay, you know what? We don't like some of the things that he talk about, what he do. Okay, but you're giving these incentives to these companies. Let me go meet with this company. Let me go meet with them and say, hey, you know what? We got a tax incentive over here. We'll give you 0 property taxes for 5 years. Build your facility here. Go to Oshkosh Truck and get these military contracts up in Oshkosh where Ron Johnson is at, and tell them like, look, build a facility over here where L. Smith is at. Make it nice and beautiful. And build it and start bringing some of these element of jobs back into the city. And I have talked to Ron Johnson and Paul Ryan when they was in office. That's why, I'm not, I have issues with certain Republicans because yes, I had a deal on the table with Ron Johnson and with Oshkosh Truck.
You yourself had a contract with him, you said?
No,
Oh.
no. What I'm saying is that as they grow popularity in the city of Milwaukee,
Gotcha.
you know what I'm saying? I went to him and said that I wanted a provision in military contracts that this is before they signed a $1.2 trillion defense bill when he was in office before, when Paul Ryan was the Speaker of the House.
Okay.
And I said, look, bro, I need to put my people to work. I need to do something within the city. Can Trump please put a provision within the military contract saying that the stipulation that they hire a percentage of convicted felons, and it had to be in an urban environment
Okay.
to where this company, in order for them to get a bid on the military contract, because those are all they're bidded out.
So what happened to that contract?
So right, so that's when that was in the first time. So when they signed the $1.2 trillion bill, and that provision wasn't in there, because I talked to Eric Trump about it as well, it wasn't in there. So then that's when.
Why do you think?
So hold on. So that's wait. So that's when. Let me no. Hold on. I'm gonna go. So that's when I backed up. So I said, okay, let me step back. But don't go here because I got the $250 million for Scott Walker for the Bucks arena. I made that deal. Peter Fagan and all them would tell you, yes, Travis was part of that deal. He met with Scott Walker because he wanted to get the Bucks deal because they wanted to do the casino in Kenosha.
So you were able to get
But
a
what
contract.
happened to the urban convicted felon and all of
That, I
that?
totally right, and that's why.
Do you
That's why.
understand?
What you? I look. I understand. I'm not gonna get everything I asked
No.
for.
Do you
but
understand why you got one and not the other? Do you see
Yeah,
the
yeah,
difference between what
I totally
you see-
understand.
wait, no,
Right, I
I
understand.
don't want to talk over that.
Go ahead.
Do you see the difference in the two things that you were asking for?
Mm-hmm.
What was the difference?
One was dealing with convicted felon. One was making people rich.
Okay,
Well,
and then you got
You know
what?
what I'm saying?
And then what did you end up getting?
So-
No, and he also asked for urban.
Right.
What you said?
You needed it
It
to
in
be
an urban area. Yep,
because it needed
yep.
to grow, and because if it was
Correct.
in the urban community, they would have to hire the people
Correct.
in that urban
Correct.
community.
Okay,
You
correct.
cannot do that
Correct.
for a reason.
Yep. So you're right.
So that's
they
my
did do
issue,
it. So
because the
so
Republican Party talks about these
Right,
these
right.
these
So-
these things that
so
y'all
you
want to
step
do
back.
for the community.
So I brought that. Y'all
and
didn't
y'all
know
don't
that.
do it.
Right. So I stepped back from that. Right. I stepped back there. That's when Scott Walker was still in office.
Uh-huh.
So I stepped back and wasn't really involved within the party at the time to help them win that election like I did the other ones. So I stepped back and
And
was like,
Scott
you know
Walker,
what?
who's taking $800-something million
So-
from MPS school over time. But yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? MPS got a lot. Look, my mama was a principal, and she worked for MPS, and I can tell you, MPS she was going down years ago.
But
So we ain't gonna go there.
But do you-
That's another situation. We'll talk about it again. But
No,
But did you see what we're saying though? It's like
No,
you
he
did put the
doesn't. He doesn't.
You
How come I don't?
crafted
listen.
a bill
right.
and had them and asked them to put provisions in there to have a footprint in urban, when they say urban communities, and it didn't happen.
Well, it wasn't a bill. It was a negotiation.
But that was a
for
time.
my assistant
Gotcha.
to help them. And this is what
But if the Republican Party wants to say that they are for people and community and peoples of color, that would have been the perfect time
totally
to put
agree.
that provision
I
in there
totally
and make
agree.
it happen.
So- I
the
totally
Republican
agree.
Party is not the
So-
party
so-
of common day people.
I told you. Look,
They got you,
I'm not knocking you on that element of the provision that they should have did that I brought to
Right.
the table to them. I'm not knocking that. So then that's why I
Right.
made the decision. You know, because it was
So
something
you
that
think
I
you pulled back, but then you back with him again.
Right,
So what
right.
happened?
So I pulled back. You know, said I had multiple conversations with them about certain things that I wanted to do, and we sat down and had a conversation, and we're going forward on what we talked about. And one of the things is about it being a union member.
Mm-hmm.
It was, how do we stop these jobs from leaving the
Mm-hmm.
state? How do we do that? Because they're making the product somewhere else,
Mm-hmm.
and we're the largest consumer, and making it trying to sell it back to us.
I don't
I
even-
said that doesn't make any sense.
I don't even think that's the issue here. I think
How
the issue here today, because every time we say something about black people,
Right.
if you have, I'm over here so I can observe.
Right.
Every time we say something, you do this whole, it's black people's fault. It's their
Ooh.
fault. You just did that with the schools. It was going down.
Why have to be? I didn't
was-
say the black people. Why you keep saying black
'Cause
people?
that's what you were saying.
No, I did not say the schools
You
were going
said-
down. Why are you
you-
saying the schools is black?
What schools
are
are we talking about?
right, NPS.
Who's at NPS?
That's
Us. I'm the part of
That's a lot. I'm
NPS.
proud of
Who
NPS.
team? No, who
But I'm
team?
just saying, I don't try to put
Majority-
color on. I try not to put color.
What
I'm
minority
pro-color.
attends?
What overwhelming
Black.
So what are you
NPS.
talking? Let's
So what happened in
school,
NPS?
what schools is going down?
So I got a question.
I'm telling you.
What happened in NPS?
You cannot build bricks with hay, my brother. You've taken $800 and something million
Okay.
from a school
Hold
system.
on. That's
a-
Scott Walker. That went
Yeah.
that
Hold on.
before that. What happened with NPS before that?
Let me
That
finish.
before when Scott Walker was in.
Let me finish. though.
NPS had issues before that because Jim Doyle was the governor
Let me finish.
when the teachers union
Yeah.
was boycotting that. He said he wasn't running for governor again because
Yeah.
the teacher union was holding him hostage.
Yep. Okay. Let me
That
finish.
was
though.
Jim Doyle.
Let me
Do
finish.
you
But
know
can't-
why Scott did what he did?
Let me finish. You cannot take that much money from a school system that functions as a small city within itself because of the
If they
size of it.
misusing the money,
So you,
yes.
well, hold on, brother. So you take that money from him and then say, "Well, your schools is failing." You
They
giving me
misusing the money, bro.
Right.
How y'all sit up here defending a school that lost 120 because they want to turn in the financial records?
Now,
it was
that's
more
true.
people. It was more people working at the central office than the teachers that needed to be out in
That's
their
true.
teaching.
And they just
so why would
restructured.
we
They
keep
restructured.
giving you money and we telling you the problems? We even tried to take it over until the mayor take over MPS, and the teachers union blocked that. There was multiple things on the table for MPS to do, and they didn't want to do it. So when Scott Walker came in office, when Jim Dole said that he wasn't going to run for governor again,
Got you.
and because of the teachers union, Scott Walker came in, and if you did see what Scott Walker did to the county executive when he was county executive, you should have knew he was going to get one time. I talked to Scott, and Scott said, "Travis, look,
Oh, that first name basis.
I went to the union and told them what I needed. I needed them to pay into their pension, and I needed to pay into their health care because they didn't pay in their pension, they didn't pay in their health care.
Okay.
And a lot of kids was leaving the school because of school choice, but a lot of parents was moving to the suburbs like Brown Deer, West Dallas. Black. I'm talking about black. You know what I'm saying? Because they was in the middle class and they was like MPS was having too many issues.
Got you.
So people was moving out. So if you ain't got the same amount of kids and your kids is moving out, why would I give you $3 billion?
Because they still have overhead. You still have buildings.
They're misusing the money.
You
And the
got
last
buildings
two,
upkeep.
no.
You still got
I mean,
supplies.
you
You
don't,
got,
wait,
you
no,
got-
you don't think that could have helped give the teachers a raise?
right. I was going. Right.
I agree.
Right.
I agree. But if you misusing the money,
That's
the
not a
money
misuse.
now,
That's
who?
not a- that, I'm saying that could have already happened.
What you mean that could already happen?
That's not a misuse. You saying he took the money away? That's not a misuse.
He said
No.
that he said the funds were having misused.
Yeah, the
during
funds
Jim
they was
Dole's
getting,
era.
doing the MPS wasn't using the far right. Now, granted, I think MPS is getting better. They need to bring back the trades. It is like, put more money back in the trades. And I did have talked to the Republican legislature
Okay.
about it getting the trades back
Okay.
into the schools.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So they are going to invest in
oh,
that.
they'll help make some baby workers. Oh, okay.
What you mean?
That sounds great. That
Of
sounds great.
course.
Sounds
Some
great.
people got to work. We don't want to sit at home on the couch playing video games
I don't
for a night.
don't know.
NBA Live. Like,
I want you to stop saying that because majority of the people that's on welfare are white people. So
I
I want
agree
you
with
to
that.
Stop saying that.
Right, no, but
You
I'm
should
saying
stop.
it's more
No,
white.
you should stop.
Why? Because
you-
it's more
you-
white
when you're
people than
talking- when you're talking with Jim and Rick
It's
and
more
all-
white people in the U.S. We only
So what?
13% of the
They're
population.
on
But
there.
that's but
80% is on that.
right. But what she's saying?
No,
though,
that's all
brother,
I'm saying.
brother,
I
what she's
know
saying
it's
is-
As
more
far as
white.
welfare.
No, I know there's more white people on welfare because the population bigger.
Okay.
But when you look at we only 13% of the population.
No, I
and,
understand that.
and I'm not saying it's 2063, but there's a high percentage of that 13% of them individuals receiving government assistance.
You said of Caucasians?
No, I said black. We
Oh.
have 13% of the population of the
Because
U.S.
there's some,
But
there's
the percentage of the individuals that are on the 13% that's receiving government assistance is high. I'm not saying, I know it's more white people on welfare, but I'm talking about the percentage element. That's something where we have to look at, that we have to change.
What about-
I don't want my people
What about?
on
'Cause I
welfare.
don't know the numbers. What about in Wisconsin?
I'm saying.
Okay, I would love to know in Wisconsin because that's what I'm talking
Okay,
about.
well, I can take it
That's
back.
what I'm talking
But
about.
there's misinformation by saying that because then people automatically think, oh, you're on W-2 or Section 8 is this overwhelming number of black folks, which is not.
Man, my thing is still my mama didn't hate it. She was on welfare. We used to go to the store with the
I know
colored
your
money.
mom.
The colored money.
Your mom was on welfare.
The food.
Yeah. When she was,
the paper
when
food
she was
stamp.
going to school, she wanted off of it. Like when she was going to school at the time and she had me, my brother, we was on government assistance and local income housing. So that's what I'm saying.
But it
I
was
know
there to
I
help
come
you,
from
though.
this.
It was there to help you.
Exactly. Come to help you, and we overcame it.
So-
we didn't say dependent on
So
it.
that's-
We overcame it because
but that's-
we didn't want to go there. Everybody right now be on the social media like, hey, anybody got a green card? I need a green card.
I
We
mean,
didn't want to go.
that's
We
circumstantial.
didn't want to go to a store and give them. It was a purple. It was a green.
Oh, I
it
know.
was a burgundy.
I know.
Like, that was embarrassing not to even do that. But now it's not even embarrassing no more. So we have to change the culture and the
But
element.
why do you think that? Why do you feel like it's you guys overcame it and all that, but you don't think that there's
People can come over.
no? But that's what I'm saying. So why are you speaking just solely in regards to the ones that you feel like having? You think that that's everybody?
I'm saying I ain't say everybody.
You
'Cause I know
have.
everybody ain't got
You
it.
said
I
you're-
said the percentage.
You continuously sat here and said that they sitting at home, they lazy, and you're
I
talking
didn't
about
say everybody.
who are you talking
I
about?
just said a percentage. I said percentage. I didn't say everybody.
Because back to the bill, I think that I just think it's unfortunate. Even how you just tried to campaign for, oh, there's a billion white people. This the percentage. You advocated for them in that moment. Even you,
How's that advocate for them?
because you wanted to make sure
That's the
you
reality.
put not, you don't even know the numbers in Wisconsin.
No, but you just said you
You
would have
don't
came
know
out and
the
said there's more
numbers.
white people that's on welfare, so
Because
I
I'm
gave
talking
you the
about
percentage.
Wisconsin. You didn't know the
No,
percentage.
I didn't know. I don't know the
That's
percentage.
what I'm
in
talking
Wisconsin.
about. Because you started talking about state
Well,
instead of federal. So
we-
I'm
we
talking
all
about
over
the
the place.
state.
You gotta let me know.
I want to be in the right place.
Right.
So I'm saying it's, to me, the reason you're here is because of your post. And I just
Right.
feel like it's disheartening to see
I don't- I
all
don't-
these black,
don't think so.
listen,
Go ahead.
all these black men speak so negatively, as though you all haven't gone through anything, or you feel as though you're aligned with Trump and friends, and you don't.
No, don't you? Why I have to, what you mean? I haven't went through anything. I've been in prison for. I went to prison. Do you not know? You don't know.
So this is the thing. So when they lost DEI, you know that affected the conviction, the felons, right?
What do you mean that?
DEI.
No, that did not affect the
It
felons.
absolutely
Oh, yes,
did.
it does.
How?
Do you understand? Do you understand what DEI
Yeah,
is?
explain it to me.
Diversity,
Yep,
equity,
equity, inclusion.
and what?
Right.
And
You
what?
know what I'm saying?
And what's the last one?
What is DEI?
Inclusion.
That's what I said.
That's
So what you mean?
that was our felon.
That's good.
No, no.
Women,
look,
people
listen,
of color.
Let me tell you something. With the felon element,
Mhm.
the felon, and I'm not gonna name the companies out there. If you're a felon, they get tax
You get
incentives.
that? Yeah.
Not
So
anymore.
they hire.
Not
here.
Some places.
I know, no. I know a lot of
No,
jobs
listen,
here.
listen,
A lot.
Listen, that
Some
was a
places.
big thing. That was a huge piece.
What you-
That is not happening
Yes, it
anymore.
is.
When
Okay.
they're taking,
I'm telling
tell
you, that's
brother, when they're
going
taking
away. That's
when they're
going
taking
away.
DEI out of these corporations, these places like that, that is going to affect them hiring felons,
What's it-
and hiring people of color, and hiring women.
That's what you said.
It is.
We have to see. We have to see.
Oh, I got to see. I know it, brother. I know it, brother. That's what they're doing.
I know. Look, let me tell you something. I know individuals that are getting hired now to skip.
You
it.
probably
So
do,
explain
but
to me.
I'm
Right.
telling
Which
you,
is probably
that is going
true.
to
You know what
die
I'm saying?
down.
You know what they tell me? They are usually the most effective workers, especially the individuals
Hey,
who've been in prison.
hey,
I do
because
believe
they
that.
do the best work out there
Do you-
because the element.
I do
Do you
believe
know?
that.
So
Do
trust
you
me,
know?
I'm the one. As me being the individual that is a felon.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I won my appeal, so everybody that want to Google it feel like I was able to 1%. I was part of the 1%.
Okay.
Not the rich 1%. The one individuals that win they appeal,
Okay.
and they have to because of the constitutional violation. I never knew. I was young, dumb, didn't even know that I was being violated by my constitutional right.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? But I was able to get out. But the thing about it is, there is, without DEI, because I nothing, that
You-
they can hire. but
You are
hire
a single
felons.
issue voter.
Yeah.
You feel like you got
Yeah.
out of that box, and
What
you
box?
are.
You're supposed to get out the box.
I mean, but look at your- okay,
you're a
look at what you
single
just said
issue
earlier.
voter. You truly felt like, oh, this is me. This is me. This is about me. This is about me. This gonna help me. Me. That's what that
But
is about
what
for you.
this
'Cause you are
being-
not-
You're
and
not
what
supposed to take care of your kids and take care of your family and move.
Yeah, you're
and
not
do
supposed-
what you're supposed to do.
What we're saying is-
So for
Right.
instance, my daughter is special needs.
Okay.
There were some things that Trump is doing that will impact my daughter possibly. I can't just vote for my needs and my
Right.
daughter's needs.
Exactly.
I need
Correct.
to vote for those around me because it will impact around me.
Exactly. And you 100%.
And they
but
feel
it
like-
depends on what you feel is going to impact you and the
on.
people around you because you can't attack every issue. I feel
I can't
But the
attack
problem-
every-
but the problem-
I feel certain things that are going to affect people around me as well that I have to do needs
Right.
for that.
But what
you
the
know what I'm
prob-
saying?
but what
And-
the
but I put
problem
them
with
like 1, 2, 3 in category.
Mm-hmm.
Not saying there's nothing like, of course, I got know people that are disability
Yeah.
and things of that nature. But when I look at these elements, I have to look at these elements to see which one is more important to me that's going to handle a situation that I need to handle in my family.
But see, that's
because
a
if you
problem,
don't
because
if you don't do that,
Uh-huh.
then you're leaving yourself not even to be in the element to take care of the family environment
Right.
that you need to take care
But
of.
then when you do that, though,
That's
my
why
brother,
you go to school.
right?
You go to school. You go to college to do. You know.
Right.
What I'm
But when
saying,
you
to
do
learn,
that-
to provide.
But when you do that, my brother,
Right.
when you do that, you sacrifice a lot of
A lot of what?
rights
If I
and
don't-
privileges
Right.
that are going to be taken away because this regime that we have now is a
It's
white
always gonna be
supremacist.
sacrifices
It's a
and
white
everything.
supremacist regime that
No,
they're trying to
it's-
put.
I'm not trying to hear that, man.
But it's
Everybody-
true.
So how do you
But
feel about
everybody's going to.
But brother, if you say that you're if you say that you're a conservative,
Right.
you have to be able to.
Yeah.
You have to be able to ride with whatever they pushing out. So
No,
you can't.
you
You
don't
can't
have to.
yes, you do. Brother, you can't cherry pick it.
How come you can't?
You can't cherry
You
pick
ain't
it.
got- you
You
don't-
can't
you
be a
don't
single
have to-
issue voter. You gotta be. You gotta take it
and,
off.
and that's what's wrong.
You gotta take it off.
That's what's wrong.
You
Y'all,
gotta take it
that's what's wrong. Y'all gotta take it all on this side, and y'all said that we gotta take it all on this side. That's the issue. We have to get back as a people or individual to sit down and communicate and talk about and negotiate. Everybody's not going to get what
people
they
ain't
want.
doing that.
Latoya said it better with the school bill. She said, you know what? There was some things in the bill I wouldn't have did. You know what I said? But it's some things that they been and we got. And one of the things that we got is more funding for these daycares and early education. So you have to negotiate. You're not going to get everything you want, and you're not going to get everything you want.
But the
you have to
majority of the bill is
negotiate.
going to hurt people in your community, my brother.
It's going to help
We
people, but
talking
it's going to
about
also help people in my community. You can't say it's going to hurt everybody.
question,
It's
I
not
have a question,
hurting
I have
me.
a
It's not hurting
question.
nobody at
I have a
Bridges
question.
Strategy. It's not hurting nobody at these other jobs that go
But
out
Bridges
there and work every day.
Bridges Strategy.
I have a question.
Anybody that go out and work and does overtime, you telling me it's not going to help them?
Hey,
No, it's
how,
not.
how many?
Y'all hate this man so
How-
much that
how-
y'all don't
No,
even-
no,
How-
Can you do something good
No.
or do something that's
No,
have a question.
it ain't about
It's not
him.
gonna happen. It's
No.
not gonna happen. It's
No.
not true.
No.
This y'all
Brother,
act
it's
soft, man.
facts, man. Y'all have to
Stop
start.
it.
You got to start reading, my brother. You should
I
be
just
reading.
know I am reading.
No, because
you're not.
taking it-
I always
No,
read.
You don't comprehend
because
what
you're
you're
not
reading.
comprehending what it's gonna
You
do.
couldn't.
This bill is
couldn't.
not going to be
Man,
good
look,
for our community.
man,
man.
stop.
Not to be
Stop.
offensive of
Stop.
anything, but I'm not trying to offend you or anything.
Right. We're not.
But you are blinded, and I'm not even
How- so
sure
what
why.
part am I blinded?
I think that you're so busy
So why
trying
you gonna tell
to.
me if I'm
Listen,
blinded?
I'm telling you. I didn't say I didn't know. I'm telling you.
All right.
I think that you're so busy trying to prove that you're somebody else that you don't mind sacrificing the people, your people. You don't mind it. You just want to appear to look like you're better or you're doing greater than what you were before. And I get that. But what would you do if,
I don't-
like, listen,
Go ahead.
what would you do if Trump, everybody that came here legally, they went through and did everything they needed to do to get the proper documents, right? He now says it doesn't matter if you have that, you still just need to go back. You need to go back where you came from, right?
Mm-hmm.
What would you do if they said, hey, I know y'all filed all those appeals, the felons, but we feel like you did it and it was on paper and you're still a felon. We don't care about the process you went through. We need you to just still be, we need to know you did that. You know what I mean? There's no expunging anything. We just gonna have that there. What would you do?
Me personally, I don't. That's like off the wall fact. But
No, it's not. It's not.
Having a president that has 34 felons.
Oh, now you want to talk about it?
He know how it feels.
But see, that's bull,
So,
man.
he know how it
That's
feels.
bull.
That's not.
No, he doesn't.
He know.
No, he doesn't, because that was
Well,
a white.
I'm not
First of all, that was
He's
a
a
white.
white
That was a
man.
white
A
collar
white
crime.
man.
That was a white collar crime for which he did not. He did not. He got charged, but he didn't get sentenced to nothing. So no, he
You
don't
should have
know.
been offended by that in itself.
Because
You
how you
should've
gonna
felt
say
disrespected.
because you got felonies and as a black man you understand me? That's bull,
That's the
brother.
problem.
That's saying that every person. That's saying that all black
What-
men
what-
because you in jail. I understand you because I'm
Look,
in jail.
What I'm saying
Come on
is,
now.
what
No,
I'm-
that's
no,
crap,
let me
man.
explain to you. Let me give you an explanation because
That's
how
crap.
he took it.
That's
The
crap.
reason why I said that he understand because he had to report to court every day, like they had to do. I had to do.
He
No,
did not
wait,
go
wait,
to
no,
jail.
No, he didn't.
Can y'all let me finish? I'll let y'all talk.
Go ahead, go
So
ahead,
when
go ahead.
I say I didn't say anything, I'm not saying that he went to jail. I know he did go to jail because he
Nothing.
became the president. He's smart. He played it right. He became the president.
He did some crooked stuff.
Listen, he became the
I
president.
don't know
before
how you even trying to
No,
justify
I'm not
that.
trying to
Say,
I want to hear this. I want to hear this.
I'm not trying to justify anything.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Whatever
Come
he
on.
did, you
Come
know what
on.
I'm saying? I know what he did.
I
But
want to
look,
hear this. Come on.
So this is the thing.
Come on.
So only when I say that, I'm just saying like, okay, this man, the president of the United States, now wasn't the president.
A white man.
They went after him.
A white
You know
man.
what I'm
They didn't
saying?
go after him.
Yep.
He did crimes.
Man, stop it. Paid a porn
He
star.
did crimes.
Paid a
You
paid a-
just said he did crimes. You
yeah,
just
he
said
did.
that.
He paid a porn star.
So why are you
He
not
did what?
saying that?
Yeah, yeah. So okay, he did crimes. The crimes.
Now
He
he
was
was
guilty.
charged.
Okay, listen.
91 charges.
He let me say.
You
he was
compared
guilty.
yourself to him.
Hold on, he was guilty.
91 charges.
Let me say he was guilty. He was guilty
Mm-hmm.
of paying a porn star, and then he was guilty for overvaluing his buildings for loan.
That's a smart business.
So listen, and I'm gonna say this right, and my Republican friends probably be mad that I said this, but if anything that I felt
Yeah.
that they should have like, I wasn't cool with January 6th.
Nobody should have been cool
Right,
with it.
right. So let's
He
leave-
was
I-
cool with it.
Because that was crap.
so I wasn't cool with that.
That was another
Because
load of crap.
Trump was cool
I
with
wasn't cool with
A
that.
bunch of white
So-
folks get
so-
mad because they didn't get their way. So we're gonna tear up the government.
Look, I'm not. I wasn't cool with it. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
They get mad. I've already been public. I'm public. I keep shit 100. So
Cool.
even with Ron Johnson, when Ron Johnson didn't do that, I blast him out and put it out. I did an interview with Channel 12 and told them, yes, this was supposed to be in the bill. They didn't do it. I don't bite my tongue. I keep stuff 100 because I come from the streets. But, and it's a code,
Okay.
a code of ethics of that.
I
But
wanna-
going
I wanna
back
hear
to
back what you were saying.
So, but what Trump element is, I said, oh, look at him. Powerful guy. Now he got to show up to court every day. You know what I'm saying?
For a
He had to
trial.
so he had to take a mug shot. He did that.
He
had
was a
to
private citizen.
So he had to sit in the front of this person while they testify. Like, he had to go through that experience.
That's
And you
still-
felt
but-
you felt like
But
what?
hold on. But what I'm saying is I understand that he was being charged with a crime. I'm not saying anything like that, but I'm just saying a person of that statue,
Mm-hmm.
they brought him down and understood him and said, okay, you know what? You're not above the law. And brought him in. So that's
They
where
didn't tell him he was above the law because he didn't have to answer for none of this.
So I totally get that. He became president before sentencing date. And Constitution said you can't sentence a president while he's sitting. Now when he get out, I don't know what's gonna happen.
Nothing.
Well, you know what I'm saying?
Nothing's
I don't
gonna
know.
happen.
I don't know.
He did not. He did not.
I totally agree. I'm not knocking that.
But,
I'm not knocking that.
but if it was young black behind him there, what you think would
we
happen?
know that. We know that.
So why are you okay?
So why is that? Why is it
What you
okay to
mean?
somebody?
Why are you not outraged about that?
I'm not that situation with him. He played it like you know what I'm saying. Like I said, from the street, he played.
telling
He played.
My question
Look, he
was
played the element.
my
he did the
question.
strategy,
So
and
why are
it
you
won.
so okay? So if you
So
feel,
I
if
thought that's not-
listen,
that's not
if
the
that's
issue
your
to me.
logic, if that is truly your
No,
logic,
that's not-
listen. If that's your logic, he played the
Played it, I
hand.
mean-
So why are you so? If you feel like in your head,
Right.
there's so many black people sitting around playing the hand. Why are you so outraged
I'm
about
not-
them, but not him?
I'm not outraged.
You
I'm not
are.
outraged that he played the
That,
hand. I'm not outraged that he
that's
played the
been your
hand.
conversation this whole time. They lazy. They doing this. You
Man,
haven't said a pitch about him.
But I'm not. Look, what they like I said, whatever they do, that's fine. So I'm not worried
It's
about.
not
like you said,
fine. It's
I'm
not
worried
fine.
about that portion of the bill because
it's
making
not
somebody
fine.
work is.
But
I'm
you
worried about
should be.
the. I'm worried about
Your community.
I'm worried about the benefit of what I can do to give back to my community
that's-
and putting people to work.
but that's
Putting
one-
people.
that's one
Putting
person.
people.
That's
Right.
one person.
Right.
No,
No.
inclusive of
No, it is.
any
It is.
bill that the
It
the
is.
government passes
It is
should be
inclusive.
inclusive of
It is.
everyone. You don't
It
need to
is.
pass a bill
You're right.
to help
Putting people
one
back to
majority of
work.
people, and that's what this
Putting
bill is doing.
people
This bill
back
is going
to work.
this bill-
But why
Putting
are you
people
saying that?
back
Why?
to work.
Listen,
Putting people
listen.
back to
Why
work.
are
Not
you
putting people back to
saying
work.
that? Why?
It's not people back
No,
to work.
it's the fact of
It's
why
not.
are you
What
saying?
you
Listen. Why are you saying? I really want to know. Why are
not
you
putting people
saying
back
that?
to work.
Because you have different lens for white people
No.
than you have for black.
I'm not even saying. What are you saying the lens? I'm
'Cause
talking
you-
about.
because-
So okay. So
No,
let's
because you,
do this.
smiled. You
Let's do
smiled
this.
when
Let's-
you said when we
let's-
talk.
So let's do
listen,
this.
I
Let's
got
do this.
you.
Let's do
Listen,
this.
No, let's
How
do
do we
this.
get jobs back in the city of Milwaukee?
No, I want to talk about you and your demeanor. I want to
That's
talk
what I'm
about
saying.
that. No,
That's what we talking
I
about.
really can't understand. I want to understand you
I
better.
want you to understand
You're
me.
here because I want to understand you better. You sat there and you smiled when I said, "Hey, he did the whole Mexican people, whoever came here illegally." He said, "I don't even care if you came legally.
Correct.
I want to withdraw all of that,
And what they do
birthright
now is horrible.
citizenship, all that. I'm
That's
taking all
horrible.
that away." He
That's
said,
horrible.
"No matter what you do, I'm taking it all away. All y'all gotta go back." I then asked you if he said, "Hey, forget all that. You get to appeal this and all." I don't care about none of that.
I do
Erase
that
that
if
for
you did.
erase that.
If he do that, I'll do the incident because then it
No,
If he
it
do
affect
that,
me.
do you
they're doing
feel?
It affect me.
How did so that's your
Right.
problem.
So
So
if
now
there's something like that affect me, where it's gonna affect my family. Of course, anything that affects a person, even in their family, they're gonna. Of course, you're the man of the household, right? So if you're the man of the household, anything that's gonna affect your family, you're gonna deal with, correct? So anything that's affect my family, if he does that, that's when I'm of course do something of the element.
Right.
I understand my community because guess what?
But I ain't
I'm
gonna
gonna be.
sell your soul
I'm gonna be
just for a
that's
line
not-
piece
that's
of
not-
a bill, bro.
But that's not a selling your soul.
Yeah.
Y'all think, how's that selling your soul because I agree with his
Because you
policy?
got the Nazi.
because you
policy.
don't agree.
You got the-
You don't.
Brother.
You don't.
What you mean? I don't agree.
You don't.
I agree.
You
But-
don't until
Honey,
they
the
affect
policies-
you. You
right,
don't
the
until
policies-
they
the
affect
policies
you.
they have, brother, are or for white people.
No. So what? The overtime is for white people. People who get tips that does it the way they supposed
said-
to do.
he said
that's
last
for
week-
white
he
people.
said last
so you
week-
saying only a white person can go get the bill credit, Only white is more white. You said more.
Did-
You said more white people on welfare, and they're gonna get cut off.
Did you hear?
Of government
Did you
assistance.
hear?
Like,
Did you
what
hear?
do y'all want?
Did
Y'all
you
keep
hear
making it
Trump?
about
No,
race.
listen.
And let's talk about the
Listen.
policy element.
Wait, did
Because
you hear?
that's what it boils
No,
down to,
did
though.
you hear Trump last week said
That's
he
what it
said
boils down
something
to.
in regards to ownership of humans, right? Did you hear that? You didn't hear him say that. Oh, you didn't hear that. You
He
didn't
did
hear him
not
say
say ownership of
He
humans,
definitely
bro.
said that. He
No.
said that the farmers
No,
that are on. Yes,
Let me tell you exactly what he said.
What
I'm gonna read. I'm
What
gonna
he
read.
said. This is what he said. He said that the farmers and the people in the hospitality industry, right, came to him and said that your ICE is coming in and deporting all my workers, right?
Okay.
So listen to what I'm saying, and let me finish because y'all don't know this. Let me
Go
finish.
ahead, go ahead.
That's what
Go ahead.
he said. He said they came to them, blah blah blah. However he's looking at it. So he said, you know what? If these individuals that he know that the farmer has worked for the farmers and the farmer is willing to validate them to come into the U.S.
what did he call it? What did he call it?
Hold on, wait. No, he
He
did
called
not
it.
say
It
that.
came out his mouth. What did he call it?
Break it up. I didn't hear that. I didn't hear
What?
that.
You
I
heard
didn't
all
hear
that
that.
other stuff, but
No,
you
no,
didn't hear
no,
that.
I didn't hear that because he said.
Oh,
because-
please.
Because that's what he said. He said, "Come here."
This is appropriate,
No,
nigga.
no, hold on. Let me finish.
Like,
Because he
what?
said that they can vouch for him. They can come here and they can go through the process of the paperwork to do what they need to do.
No.
But he said they're not citizens. He said they're not citizens.
No.
What are we talking about then?
They
How
trying
can
to
you
round
come here?
So with that being said, do y'all know that professional athletes, the NFL and the NBA, the people who come over here that's playing for foreign countries, they have to go through the State Department and get work visas. Do you know who sponsored them and who's responsible for them?
Who?
The NBA and the NFL are responsible. So what is the difference that Trump is saying, okay, farmers, you have to allocate, do you want these people to come in and do your line? Y'all, you have to allocate, you have to be, so they do the same thing.
But that's not what he's
because
doing.
it's a low job and they make millions of dollars.
That's not what they're trying to
It's
do,
a
though, bro.
difference.
They
You know what I'm saying? Like,
That's not what they're
I
trying to
don't
do. They're
get
trying
it.
to round up them folks and just kick them out here and just kick them out without giving them the due process of going through appeal, without
I
giving them due
look.
process to say, hey, you did come over however way you came in.
I feel you on that,
You
brother,
can't
but that's
just,
not my type of
you
thing.
just can't round up folks
Right.
and kick them out here.
That's not my
because
type of
that is not what America is about.
Right, but if you here illegally,
We all here illegally, aren't we?
well, we all is, but you know what I'm saying?
We all here
we all
illegally.
do the man law.
Stolen land, but I'm
We
just
do the
saying.
man law, we do the man law, we
But-
want to do the man law, we do Christianity when they want to do Christianity. So, you know
No,
what I'm
but
saying?
but
So go ahead.
but we have to realize, my brother, that the Republican Party has a white supremacist regime.
Right.
They're
Your interpretation.
no, it's not. It's true.
Right.
Go look at some of Hitler's books and
Wait,
read some
I
of
wanna-
that stuff.
I wanna play this for y'all. I wanna play this
it's
for y'all.
definitely there.
I want to play this.
It's a playbook.
I want to play this clip for
It's
y'all.
Nazis. It's right there. That's white supremacy.
So when you say that, you look at the Democratic side that I don't agree with. I
Okay,
don't
look.
agree with boys trying to be in girls' sports.
Listen,
don't
I
agree
want
with
to
that.
play this for
I
y'all.
don't
want to
agree
play
with-
this.
Play this, and then we're gonna get back to
Yeah,
that.
we'll get back to
Because
that.
I have not given you my full opinion on stuff. Because I want to hear you.
So we have a case where a lot of cases where ICE will go onto a farm, and these guys working there for 10, 15 years, no problem. Farmers, we're going to put what is called farmer responsibility or owner responsibility, where they're going to be largely responsible for these people. And they know these people. They've worked on the farms for 15 years, and all of a sudden, so I have a great.
That made sense to you.
What?
You are one of the reasons.
No, go ahead.
Men
Go
like
ahead.
you.
I was listening.
That was it. Men, you
That
over
was
there
it.
shaking your hands. Men
I
like
was
you are
trying-
probably
I was
the main reason we had slavery. Men like you. Because ain't no way you agree with that. There's no way you just shook your head yes to that. That is crazy. Those are human beings. There is no way you just did that. That is sick. That is absolutely sick. I'm appalled. I'm appalled at this moment.
So what is the difference with the NBA doing?
No one should be doing it.
Exactly.
No one should be doing it.
And I don't-
It was
and I honestly-
it was obviously discreet enough. You had to come tell us about it.
Right, and I honestly think that's the whole provision that the NBA and the NFL does.
Anybody that comes, yeah, they have to go through the State Department.
The fact that you're trying to make
Okay, I mean-
listen,
So, I don't-
That's okay,
you
though.
just heard him say owner's responsibility. That is a rebranding of slavery. You heard that. You
But they
shook your
can
head.
leave. They
Listen,
don't have to stay.
you
What's the
shook
problem
your
with
head.
that?
You
So
shook
they
your head.
coming. We couldn't leave.
What's the problem?
They brought us here from Africa. We couldn't go back. We have to do slave trades and run. They can leave.
What's the
If
problem?
they don't want to be here and work on the farm, they say, you know what? I'm gone. We couldn't do that.
But what's
There's
the
a
problem?
difference?
What's the problem with immigrants?
I think there's a problem with immigrants.
So why are
Well,
you saying
I'm
that?
not saying don't come through the border, just come through the right way.
They
they
did.
can't. But
No, a
some-
lot of them did.
but
He
some
told them they
can't.
had to
But
come
no,
back.
they visas, no, they stay over their visa.
But some people can't.
They stay over their visa.
What about-
But he,
What about the white South Africans? What about them that he brought here?
that was the two.
Put them on the plane.
Hey, I
Put
said,
them on the plane.
I ain't gonna
We're
give up.
over here. We're
Hold
not-
on, hold on. I'm glad you brought that up. When I seen that, I was like,
On some crap about that they're being
Yeah, I
facing
said-
genocide
And it wasn't,
and
and it
murder,
wasn't.
which is a lie. That was a lie. They're not facing genocide. They're not facing murder.
you know what
over
I said?
South
You know
Africa.
what I said about that?
You know what?
I said that.
You know why he did that? You know why he did that? He played. He played. But do you know why
It
he did
happened to me,
that?
so I don't
Do
know.
you know why he did that?
Why you think-
Because over, not to think, because it's facts. Because over in South Africa, they just passed a bill to give the rights
Yep.
and lands back to South Africans, taking land that was stolen from them from white South Afrikaners.
Yep.
So they got pissed, like folks do of that color, because now you got to pay back what you done stole. So they kicking you over there. So Elon gets in Trump's ear. Gets him to get those individuals, round them up, and bring them over here. Talking about they're being killed, they're being kicked. No, you're being kicked off of land that you had no business on
Yeah.
to begin with. That country is restoring the land to the property of the people from which it was stolen from. That's why they brought them over here.
And that could be.
And that's
That-
bull
I
crap.
didn't
But
get
so
it.
it's okay to go grab them from another country, put them in airplanes and bring them over here. But your workers, people who are fleeing,
But they didn't come across the border.
real life.
They came on the plane.
Yeah,
We knew
yeah,
what it was.
yeah.
We knew what we knew
But-
what it was. We knew like we knew
But
the
it's
we knew all
okay
that.
to treat
We knew
them.
their background.
It's
But
okay to
people
treat.
come in
It's
like
okay.
over the border, like,
It's
you know,
okay to
nothing
treat
about them.
white South Africans like kings
Well,
and
I-
queens,
I
but you
told
have individuals that are fleeing from oppression. You have individuals that are fleeing from sex trafficking, from drug cartels coming in and taking over villages. They're trying to flee these conditions that they're in. So they're coming over here to America for a better life, because that's what America has always been about.
Right. It's a process.
No different than slavery. So that's why I said people that are black, we should have no reason. We should have no reason and no stance on immigrants fleeing from that kind of lifestyle
Why?
and coming out here to be better, because
Why?
we once were there, brother. That's
We
the
didn't
difference.
flee.
Yes, we did.
We did not flee.
Brother,
Africans come here. We was
No,
born
I'm,
from both.
I'm
What are you
talking about. I'm talking about in this country when black people were running away
couldn't
from
flee
slavery.
we couldn't flee
When black people run away from slavery to the
They
north,
flee the whole
from the
country,
south to
brother.
the north. It's the same thing.
That's the same
We were
thing.
doing the same. They were doing the same
That's
thing
the
to black
same
folks.
thing.
Yes, it was.
That's the same thing.
Yes, it is.
That's
You're fleeing from a certain area, a certain lifestyle, and certain and your rights being having. Well, you have no rights. So to a better life. That's what black folks get from the south to the north.
Right.
To
Exactly.
freedom.
Right. But that's, you talking about something that's in the United States of America coming from another country. They're coming
But
from
that's
another
not. But that's
country
not. But that's not.
into-
That's
so we don't know who they is. At least when we was fleeing, we had names and stuff. We don't know who these people
No, we
are.
didn't.
These people are just coming.
No, we
straight
didn't.
up to the.
We didn't know
over
our
to the
names. We
border.
didn't know our names
And
from
there's-
slavery.
Yes, we did.
No, we
got,
didn't.
I got my Clark from the plantation, Clark and Megan Jordan. Where I'm
That
from,
ain't your
man.
name, brother.
I know
That's
that.
the name that you were given.
That was the name I was given.
My
because-
last name Higgins. That is not my name. That is the name from
So
my
what-
slave master's name. That is not my name.
That's what I'm saying. So what
That's
is
the
your
name you
actual
were
name?
given. I really don't know.
Exactly. So what
I
I'm
really
saying-
don't know what my name is. But I know it's not Higgins.
So what I'm saying though is there's a process to come into this country, right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Coming across the border and just as Matt, we don't know who you is.
But why does it
You know
matter
what I'm
to you
saying?
though?
We don't. What you mean?
Why does it matter to you though?
It don't matter to me
Why?
because when you come across the border,
Uh-huh.
you know, when they come in here, when they came across the border, what did they do? A lot of those funds in these saturated cities went through that was funds for the Milwaukee.
No,
went
that's
to
a
Oregon.
lie. That's a lie. That's a lie.
What you mean?
That's a lie, bro.
It happened in Chicago. It happened in
No.
Virginia.
No.
So who paid for them when they came across the border in the hotel?
You said what?
When they came over here,
The
put them in hotels,
The
who paid for it?
Republican Party
Who paid
got
for it?
the Republican Party, the GOP
Okay.
of this country, got those individuals, rounded them up in planes from different states, and started dropping them off in Democratic-run states to say and cities to say, oh look, y'all got a flood of people coming in here. That was all stagecraft.
That was stagecraft.
And then they, especially in
So-
Florida,
so-
you
so-
drop all those people off. You take all these people out.
So
of
everybody that was
and
coming
you drop
across
them
the
off.
board, that we had all this footage at CNN, and they was like,
I'm not talking about that. No, I'm talking about. I'm talking
where
about.
they
I'm
put them
talking
on the
about.
bus.
No,
They had all those buses in Texas, and they bust everybody up to the north to Sanctuary City.
that was Republicans doing that.
right. Right, exactly, because they come across the border and they said they can go. They put them at the sanctuary cities. So when they did that and they said, "Come on," they walk on them. The federal government,
They
when Joe Biden was in, was
No,
supposed to help these cities.
no,
But they
it
didn't.
wasn't.
They started kicking,
No,
they
no,
started kicking black
no,
kids
no,
out of school in
no,
Chicago.
no,
and-
no. That's
That
false,
is
brother.
not true.
That's false.
That is not true.
That's a Fox 6. That's a
Yeah, no,
that's
you
a
watch-
Fox
No,
News.
that was no. Look
That's a Fox
You watch
News
Fox News?
programming.
No.
That comes straight out of Fox News,
No,
brother.
no,
That's a
no.
lie.
I can tell you
That
what.
did not happen. That's called stagecraft.
How's that
They
stagecraft?
conning you, man.
You want
They
to
conning you.
tell you where I got the information from?
Where?
You know how-
Fox News.
No,
Where?
Southside Chicago.
Who?
My background of what I was in, and I keep it 100. I tell everybody
Yeah.
was, you know what I'm saying,
That's false, though.
right. When I grew up as a kid, Gangster Disciple.
Okay.
GOS,
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So that's where I kind of got a lot of my manhood from.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Got
When
you.
you was young, you go into the gang element, and that's why I was.
So you getting your information? You said you getting your information from where?
So I go to Chicago
Okay.
frequently. When this was going on, I was going there frequently
Okay.
because of Dirk and his dad had just got out.
Okay.
And stuff like that.
Wait. I want Ashley Parker. She said that that Kamala and Biden were sending in the immigrants to have Democratic votes. Yeah,
No,
she said.
you
Wait.
can't even vote.
She has evidence. Please send it. You can send it to my inbox or Dorian's inbox because they
Please.
couldn't even vote. So
Democrats can't vote.
So you
Another
know what I'm
lie,
saying? So
Fox-
I grew up
Fox News.
like y'all said, I grew up, I'm a protege of Westlawn and the projects and stuff like that, gangs,
Okay.
stuff like that. So I frequent Chicago a lot, and I really, went over there because of Dirk dad and stuff like that, and
Okay.
some other people that had got out of incarceration that was part of the Brothers of Struggle. But
Okay.
again, it's a different Hoover just changed it to a different name because it was Gangster Disciple before, and he coming out trying to do some positive stuff in Chicago. But when I went over there and stuff like that, I met with this older lady on the south side of Chicago, on the west
Okay.
side of Chicago. We was talking, and she said, they turned back into putting the kids homeschooling because they had nowhere to put the immigrants, and that was on the south side, west side of Chicago.
Well, you know why
and
that
it was and it was upset because they said people was outside urinating.
But you know why that
and
is?
trash
though?
and stuff
Because
like
they
that.
flooded these.
Right,
They
because
flooded
Tex-
specific
right,
cities.
right,
Mostly
that was
Democratic-led cities.
because
And they pushed all
sanctuary
these-
no because they
No.
sent them to sanctuary city, which is Democratic led city. For Republicans are not sanctuary cities, Democratic cities. So they sent them there to sanctuary cities.
So then they
when
say,
got
"Oh, I got all these people here." So now
Right.
it looks
So-
it looks as if you're
because-
being overrun,
No, because
which
the-
is false.
because the
Stage
court
fright.
because when they came over when Joe they said they wasn't gonna stop them from coming over and doing that. So when they was coming over, everybody from Venezuela, it was a whole thing that was coming over. And then Joe had to step in, and Kama actually did step in and talk to Venezuela and say, like, look, you gotta stop these people from coming. Y'all need help, and tried to tell Mexico, y'all gotta take some of these people. So they tried because they was fleeing what was going on in their country. But at the same time, coming over here like in a massive like that and not knowing who these individuals are and coming from the streets and understanding the drug game and the fentanyl and all of the heroin, that was going on. One of the issues that
When you look at the government for that,
well, right. But one of the issues that I had is that, when these pharmaceuticals, and one thing I like about Trump because he is going after these pharmaceuticals are the ones that really got these individuals hooked on opium, with these pain drugs. So they got hooked. So then now that they couldn't get the opium anymore because they was trying to prevent them from buying it, they went to heroin. And then it flooded a lot of individuals that was coming into the city of Milwaukee buying heroin, and people was dying. And then they was getting, and it was the black boys who looked like me that was selling it. And then they created to change the law to where now.
so what
if that
point are you
person-
making, brother? I'm
So
missing
if
your
that
point.
person die off of heroin, that person get a body in a homicide rate.
I'm missing your point.
So,
though. What you getting at?
So my point is that when we look at what's the element, and when I went to Chicago and looking at the immigrant element, a lot of those funds was taken out of the inner city community to help those individuals out. And I don't think that should have been done like that. You know what I'm saying? It happened in New York. Adams came out and said something about the immigrants in New York, but then next thing you know, he had issues.
Can I ask a question?
Because
Yes.
So, white people also feel like black people or minorities shouldn't get any special type of funding for housing, education, or anything like that. Do you agree?
No, I don't agree with that. So
You don't agree
I-
in its entirety that
No.
we should be receiving something.
Well, you should actually. You know what I'm saying? I think we are due for some type of reparation. So whatever that look like, I'm not.
because they don't think
Right.
we should get squat.
Right.
No, I'm saying
You know what I'm
that
saying? But
they,
that's
you,
where
wait,
you're gonna
so
have to go over
they,
that
so you know
process.
but they canceled. That's what the DEI and everything
So-
was about. They
so-
felt like we were being given things,
Right.
and we should be earning it, right?
Student
I
loan
agree.
repayment.
I agree.
So-
I do agree.
So
No,
I-
but that wasn't the point I was
Right,
making.
right.
So there's always a race that feels like somebody shouldn't be getting something,
Yes.
right?
Correct.
They also tell us we need to go back to where we came from. Many of us were born here. This is where we're from.
Yeah, I ain't
However, the white supremacists feel that way, right?
totally right. Yeah.
Right. So
totally, yeah.
why? My thing is to you. You don't know all of the immigrants. You do not know all of the stories. Why join them in that same look of racism? Why join them?
Well, I'm not saying join. I don't like. I
It's
just
the
feel,
same
I
thing.
just, wait, however you want to look at it, I just feel
It's the
that
same thing.
there's a way that they need to, instead of coming across how they came, there's a way to do it.
So they're saying
So we need
there's
to know who's
white
coming in
people
this
saying
country.
there's a way that they should handle us. They should have houses first. They should have better neighborhoods first. They should have grocery stores first.
They
should
have that already.
But that's
but-
that's
but-
what I'm
but let me tell you
saying.
this.
Their community have that. So if you look at this, right? If you look at the white communities, right? You look at Waukesha, you look at Wauwatosa, you look at these control. You want to say white? Let's make it race, whatever.
You
usually don't
made
talk to
it
use
at
of
the
race.
moment you said that.
But say you look at this community. A lot of black folks and a lot of people are moving to these communities, right? They're moving out to these because of the nice housing, the stores and things of that nature. You can't fault like the community, and you look at the city of Milwaukee that doesn't have that. You can't fault individuals from going.
And why do you think that is?
What about
You
the
know,
individuals that are here and can't go anywhere else?
Right.
Well,
Why are you able to fault them?
right? I'm not faulting
You
them.
are.
I'm not faulting them. I'm not faulting them in the situations that they're in. But however, at some point, right? Like a lot of women say, like, dude, you cheat. I need you, you know. At some point you have to you have to change, especially if you got responsibilities, right? We can't continue to, I don't want to use handicap anyone, white or black. We can't continue. We have to get them out of the situation they is and grow and get them to grow and do things. But we've been so complex of, I understand, of helping individuals, but some individuals are taking advantage of that help and not doing anything.
So
I
your
know
mom was
some
able to get some food
I
stamps.
mean-
She was able to have her baby without a father. She then taught her son. Well, her
Yeah.
son then did the same thing.
Yeah.
You have 3 baby mamas, 5 children. You did not marry any one of those women. You
Right.
probably won't even get married. And if you
Right.
do, it really doesn't matter because all of your children are older, I'm sure.
No, I got a 5-year-old.
5-year-old. So now,
Somebody got to replenish
no,
the earth.
but you get what I'm saying. So you got to be hopeful that your sons will do opposite of you.
Right. So of
And
course,
create
You said your
a
mom was
family.
a principal too, correct?
right. No, she worked for NPS for a long time. So I'm glad that you make that point, because what you're missing in all of that is that I didn't have a father to teach me.
Listen.
So that's what you said. My mom, she was a single person. So I know a lot of single moms out here
Who
that's
can't,
born
per
to
you,
have
can't
kids,
teach
right?
a man how to be a,
right.
how a boy how to be a man.
No. I said so.
Per you.
So what I'm saying is that me as an individual itself, like knowing that what my mom is seeing it. So seeing those things
Mm-hmm.
and the environment, and some men that I had an environment around me taught me some things that maybe I didn't think about until later. One thing's for sure, two things for sure, that all my kids, I make sure, one, I'm there. I'm not gonna say I'm a perfect dad. Not gonna say I'm a perfect dad, you know what I'm saying, or a perfect man.
Because no man is perfect. I make mistakes, make challenges.
You
and
can't
everything.
do that though. That's
But-
a cop out for you.
but- no, it
That
ain't. No, it
is
ain't
a
no- it ain't no
cop
cop
out.
out.
That is.
Because-
I can't be
no, how's it-
perfect.
how's it
You
cop
knew
out?
that. You
So
knew
do
that when you
prefer
made
me
maybe
not to
2,
take-
3,
so
or
hold
4,
on.
5.
Do you prefer me not? Although I follow these kids, right? Do you prefer me not to assist the black woman, the queen, the father of these kids financially, and be there as a father to take care of them, and be a provider and protector to make sure they do what they supposed
You
to
do to
It,
whatever.
And I-
it is right. It is your responsibility. It is your
Right,
responsibility
exactly. So that's
to
it.
take care of your
I
kids.
understand.
But you
I
can't.
understand. I did this. We understand that. But I am the type of man and the person that who I am, where I grew up from, that no woman that I'm with, especially if I have kids, especially if they got kids, because any woman I tell you, they tell you I'm talking to their kids and I'm treating them like my kids. Because the father figure and a man needs to be somewhere involved around the women, especially that have kids. The right
Okay.
man. The right man. Because there's so many black women out there that don't have men around them and have kids by multiple men, but there's no one teaching them. I would love to say, granted, I made these mistakes. My son right now is 21, got a great job, and he has a baby on the way. And I told him, I said, this is the mistakes that I made. And what I do, and I'm teaching you as being your dad. This is what, so you, it's us. We're not perfect men. And we
It's
have
not
mental,
even about
and we
being a
have
perfect
mental health
man.
issues as well.
It's not
because of
about
what men went through.
mental health.
But-
That's another thing.
Right,
So
but-
listen. So there's
Hold on,
broken
hold on,
homes,
no,
mental
but-
health.
No, but me being there and talking to these young men on my life experience, because then you're able to educate when you experience it. We got politicians in office that look like us, that really haven't really experienced anything. And we put them in office. And
No,
they make
but you-
laws.
but
they
what-
make
But
laws
what
about
about the
us.
white men that don't go through anything
That's the
you've
same,
gone through?
same thing.
No,
I'm
you
I'm
advocate
knocking
for
that.
them. You advocate for them.
I'm not. I'm advocating for policy. Like I keep telling y'all.
No,
Right,
you're
but-
not though.
I'm
Right,
only
but-
advocating for policy.
but brother,
If
problem-
that person is that policy, that's a policy. Y'all keep saying
But bro-
individual is policy.
Bro, but the problem with that is when you say I vote for policy,
Right.
you're sacrificing the greater good
What's the
of
greater
everything.
good?
Is
The
that
greater-
you have
what's the
a
greater good?
you have a regime
No,
that
see,
is
keep
trying
saying
to
that. What's the, no,
implement
no.
white
Great-
supremacist
what greater good?
values
What greater good?
on this country.
What white supremacist value you saying? I like the bill. I have no argument. There's some things that I don't like about the bill, but I like the bill. I think it's going to benefit the people that's around me.
It's not,
that work.
especially we talk about. And this we
I
go into
feel like they gonna-
come on,
it's gonna
immigration.
benefit them.
Your party doesn't want to fix immigration. Simply, they want this problem. Let me tell you how I know that's for a fact.
What?
Because right before the election, there was a bill that the Democrats and Republicans in the House and the Senate worked on together. It was a bipartisan
And he
bill.
killed it.
And he killed it on
He killed it.
purpose because he said,
No,
"I
he wanted
want
to
it."
elect-
He said, "I want it to be.
Right,
I want it to be." His quote: "I
He-
want it to be a problem, so that I can run on." So
Yeah.
y'all don't want to fix the immigration problem. Y'all just want this to be an issue
I'm
that
not-
you continue
I'm not lying
to
to you.
talk about it.
I'm
So
not-
if y'all
I'm not
want to fix it,
I-
you have to.
you're right.
You have to.
You're
the,
right.
the guns to fix it.
You right.
But you didn't. So I don't want to hear this. We got to get all the immigrants to do all this. We got to do this. That's false. That's again stagecraft.
Man, look, I tell everybody.
Stagecraft.
I think I vote on policy.
But that's what I mean.
You don't.
And everybody, we're not going to get the thing about it that we have to understand the reality.
Yeah.
We're not going to get everything that we want.
Oh,
no
true.
one, no one is.
No, you know,
Right? No
in
one is.
politics,
So
you don't.
you don't get everything
You
want.
don't get,
so,
which is true.
So what I'm looking for to get and to make sure that the people that I know
Mhm.
are able to prosper is I like the overtime bill.
But
All
you,
union people like
We
it.
just
But-
told you what the overtime.
but
bill
you're
is.
okay with, but you're okay with people getting their Medicaid cut.
I
You're
am,
okay with seniors getting
I am
their
okay.
Medicare cut.
So
you're
look,
okay with
I am
communities
okay.
of color
Look, I am okay.
not receiving.
The white
Medicaid
said
funding.
it was more that's going to be affecting the United States. It ain't just the community of color. But listen, even rural hospitals. But what I'm saying is, I agree with individuals who's receiving Medicaid and to have work 80 hours a month.
You okay with
What are
Nah,
you talking
nah,
about?
hold
What
on,
about
hold
the
on.
people that
But
can't?
wait,
Let me finish.
What are you
So
talking
if
about?
you look at the bill, the 65, because it's 65, the work requirement. So you have to be under 65 if you're able. Hold on.
I would be okay with
Wait, if you're able-bodied, to get out of to be able to move around, you know what I'm saying? You ain't you can just go to your local church and do stuff at your church to get out in the community and help talk to some of the kids. Too many people is sitting at the house. if this is the way to say, okay, we need to.
That's
if
the
we,
fact.
That is that
We
is
don't-
misleading.
what I'm saying is,
That is
if this is the
misleading.
way
And it's already
to
a
get
requirement.
people
It's already a
out
requirement in there.
to-
All they did, my brother, all they did with that requirement, they just talked about it again. It's already a requirement that if you are on,
so why everybody
if you're on W-2, that you have to look for a job.
So why is
For a certain
everybody
amount. You have to work. You have to get so many hours in. You have
So
to
why
report.
is everybody tripping?
Because what you're trying to
Because
do
he
is
just
you're
put it in
cutting,
here.
you're cutting people that
Well, you said it's already a requirement. Why you
listen,
saying it's already
because
a requirement?
you're cutting your elderly. You're cutting individuals that have disability. You're not just doing that for well everybody.
You just said it was a requirement.
Yeah, it's there already.
So the thing about
I don't have no problem. That's already in there.
the
I'm talking about
requirement
we
of-
trying to cut and take stuff from
But the
individuals.
requirement of
and
the
just
Medicaid,
cut them off of
the
that.
requirement. No, that's not gonna happen. The requirement.
That is gonna
Oh,
happen.
you know, y'all, everybody. This is all speculation.
It's not speculation. It's in there.
No, look.
It's
The
in
thing, the thing is, that bill don't take effect to 2027, right after the midterms, right? Yep, it don't go into effect in 2027.
You sure about
I'm
that?
positive. All right.
Okay.
So that gives individuals now the 2027. Now, if y'all, I tell people if they really don't understand the scheme of things when you look at things that he's trying to do, when you look at the jobs, you look
The
at
cuts to food benefits will start in about 2028. is what they're saying.
right. So if you look at the job element of it, where he's trying to get more jobs here, you know what I'm saying? Because I know of 3 companies that's coming here right now. Yes.
You cannot tell me, brother,
So-
that this man who's a known bankrupter is just this big this big business acumen person now
Right.
that's going to be able to all of a sudden bring out Republican numbers
Yes.
on jobs, bringing jobs in the
Yes.
country when they
You
are in
just beat
power.
the expectation
are
against this fact
horrible.
that
That was
everybody
inflated
thought-
numbers, and I don't
everybody
believe
thought-
nothing. I don't believe nothing.
Oh, that was on
coming-
CNN.
I don't believe
That
nothing.
was OCN.
Listen, I don't believe nothing.
CNN said they had
manipulate-
more jobs.
No.
They had
Yeah.
jobs
Right.
in June. They thought it was gonna be less. They thought the inflation was gonna hit. They thought all this stuff was gonna hit. They said, "Well, give it 6 months. Watch, you gonna feel
No,
it."
no.
It's 6
Those
months
numbers
out.
are inflated, brother.
Look,
The
Clark.
numbers are inflated. And
I would give Democrats free Clark and social advice.
so what?
If they
You get what?
feel
You get what?
Democrat,
Okay, you do what again?
give them free Clark and Associates, which is my consulting firm. Free advice.
Oh Lord, you consulting folks.
Free advice.
Hey, don't run that across this
Do
network.
not-
Do not go there.
What? Do not
Do
make
not
your
go
fight
there.
about the Medicaid and that a lot of
That's
And I,
people.
and I also want to
Affect
say
your
real quick,
senior.
I know y'all having y'all piece and they having another chat in the chat
I see.
within the chat. But Ashley Parker, that is not a credible resource.
What
so
is she
you
saying?
you shouldn't share that.
What? NTD.
Yeah, it's
No,
not
oh,
a credible resource.
If you think if
Here it is.
I forgot the train of thought I was saying.
I want you to take back all that stuff.
No,
I-
he can stand on it. Tell you.
No, I don't want him to stand on it. I want to feel like you better than that. I think you're listen, I think you're a very smart man. I think
That's what he is.
I think you have got caught into being a single issue voter, and I don't like that for you. It is a terrible look.
Look,
And as a black woman,
right.
I do appreciate you being strong and passionate enough to come in here and talk about, your piece, giving us some insight on a different level. But I do want you to reconsider. Play this back. Watch this back. I want you to reconsider some of those thoughts. Because even watch, you're going to find, like, did I say that? Did I mean that? You're going to have those moments. Trust. And let me know.
You think
It
so?
might be,
You
I
think
promise you.
What's up?
Because I know you didn't want to come off like that.
No, you know what? I this is a conversation because I think that the blacks are doomed
How?
if we continue to be one-sided on one political party.
Brother,
and that's why
I think there's, let me give you this.
that's why
I
Trump
think there's
Trump won got so many voters this time.
because they're racist.
No, but listen,
He didn't get no women black voters.
Not
women, but he got the
He
got the majority. No, he got the biggest black voter turnout.
No.
since
No.
that's
No.
not true.
No.
So
No.
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 For black men,
No.
for black men, you trying to say?
That's
the
false.
percent of all together.
No, that's not true.
That's
That's
false.
not true at all.
That's false.
What
He
did
did not.
he get? He got
He did not.
What did he get? In
He did
percent?
not. Maybe it was 13. Maybe it was 10
For,
or something like that. It was
for black
So what
women,
did John Kerry get?
Who?
for black
Right.
women, listen, for
I
black
said for
women,
Republicans, he got it
For
for Republican candidate
no,
president.
John
no,
Kerry?
No.
Not Jim Carrey. The one that run with Paul Ryan.
How that doesn't even make any
Matt,
sense.
Mitt Romney
For
back in 2012?
black
Right.
women,
He
he
had
got
Obama
listen,
running there.
Okay.
that won't make sense because for black women he got an 8% vote, and then on behalf of black men, I think it was like 13 or 15%.
Yeah, okay.
So that doesn't even make sense.
No, what I'm saying though, in other Republican presidents that ran for political office,
Worse.
is what I'm saying.
He got the worst.
He got the word.
No, he didn't.
Yes, he did.
Trump did not get
He
a
did
great
not.
turnout for black
He
people.
certainly did,
no,
brother. He
bro.
did not, man.
How many percentage did? So the last
did
Republican
not.
president was Jeb Bush.
No.
No.
Jeb Bush wasn't no president. Jeb Bush was the governor of Florida.
The last
No, Jeb.
You talking about George Bush?
George Bush and his dad. So we can look at the George Bush percentage of black voters.
What
Look
are you
at
talking
his
about
dad.
now?
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying that he got more than them when they ran of black voters. Is what I'm saying.
No.
She looking at
The problem is, brother, you even said earlier
What?
that you tried to get some contracts for some
I-
stuff for in the black community, and
Right.
it didn't even happen.
Right.
So how is the Republican Party a benefit to black people when they do nothing and they pass no legislation that benefits people of color?
wait a minute. They doing some other stuff in here. Kanisha, I've certainly given you information on all of this. So to say that is wrong. She's saying give the sources instead of just saying no. She's saying that she has facts. I'm saying no because she's running that across this network and it's not factual. She should be able to provide you with another credible
Yeah, I see that too. I think that's what she's trying to say.
She's saying why just say no instead of telling us which ones are right. I can give you that, but I need to say no because it's a no. She's the one saying what she's saying.
Yeah, brother. We can't be single. We can't be single issue voters, bro. You can't be a single issue voter.
It's not a single. It's not a single
You
vote.
said that- you
I
said
said
that you-
it's multiple things. It's multiple things in that bill that I like. It ain't just one thing. But at the same time, being a union guy, when I go in,
And that's what's really surprising me that you a union guy and you backing this stuff.
So when I go into a union, I represent everybody in the union to get them what they need. Everybody's not going to be happy in this room.
Well, that's the art of negotiation.
of the
That's the art of
contract.
negotiation.
Everybody's not gonna be happy. Just like when you said I negotiated that and I didn't get it,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't get everything I want. I went in with multiple things, but that was one of the key elements that I was pushing. But I got other things together. I got
That benefited black folks.
the benefit for black folks. We wanted the shot spotter that went on there. They took it out of the budgets. I called it a burden.
What does that have to do with black people?
Hold on a second. I called because that's what Baldwin. That's what the aldermen want. That's what all the Democrats now
No, what
want.
did they have to
They
do with
wanted
black
the shot spotter. So you know what?
What is that? What is that?
Hold on.
Shot spotter is the mechanism that
when a gunshot, somebody gets shot, the police can go there. So they wanted the
it
Republicans.
does work. It works.
Republicans took that out of the budget.
Yeah, it works.
So people call me. I got an email from the alderman down.
How would that help black people?
Hold on, let me see. So alderman down to Ballman. Ballman got an email for Ballman. Ballman, the alderman of downtown, of that district, downtown, Alderman Ballman.
Oh, wait a minute.
So right.
Who's
so,
a Republican?
No, he ain't.
Ballman?
Yes.
Uh,
Yes. So I got an email from him. He said they took it out of the budget. Can you get them put it back? I called up Barney Darling, which was part of the finance committee. Asked her to put it back in, put it in the budget. Shot spotters help the black community in the city and the blacks because
How?
if somebody gets shot, we can hear it and the police go there. Somebody could be
Well,
down
why
and
is
laying
it-
down on the ground.
That's-
getting
Why
shot.
don't they be? Why aren't they able to? I don't understand. Why?
No, so shot spotters is up in the
No,
air.
I get it. I get it.
So
I
when
get
the
it.
gun go off, the cops come there
I
to see if
know.
anybody that got shot need medical assistance, need help, anybody that need anything when the gunshots go
but
off.
that's not a great impact
So
on the
that's
black
why-
community.
so
that's
that's
not
why-
that's not improving our community.
Yeah, okay, but you know what? But tell,
Putting the shot spotter in there.
tell your people that's downtown to let police chief get the face recognition. That's help the
Hey,
people.
so
They're working on that.
I wish you would have been able to be in the chat. And Kanisha and Ashley, everybody in the chat. I appreciate y'all even being in the chat.
Yeah, they going back and
It's
forth
a
in the
nice,
chat.
healthy dialogue, and I love that.
Yeah.
As far as the resources and things like that, we on here every week. Dorian's on here about every week. we can go through each thing as it's happening and then drop the sources moving forward that
Yeah,
way.
Yeah.
I
want you back, man.
Man, whatever.
Yeah. So we can do
I
that.
want you back.
We can do that and then
Hey,
drop them like
we got an
that.
important election, man.
I want him
We,
back.
we got an important election coming
No,
up,
I
midterm
want-
election. We got to. We
I
need
want,
to-
but I think if you can next week, if you can come next
Can you
week,
come back next week?
I think
Man,
y'all
look,
should
please,
unpack.
please.
Listen,
Like,
I really would love for y'all to unpack the immigrant piece
Yes.
because so
and
many.
that, and I need to. I really want to unpack the black man piece because I think
That's a whole nother
I
show.
think
Right,
the
that's a whole nother
community.
show.
I think the community has a problem that all black men are not coming together, and I'm gonna put this out there.
Mm-hmm. No,
so-
it's cool.
And because I feel if we all could come together, like you know, what I'm saying G, Craig,
Yeah.
Ashley, you didn't learn nothing tonight. Oh, okay.
Like all of them that's black men, prominent black men, pillars of the community that people know, come together and really let's sit down and come up with a negotiation. Negotiate. You're not gonna get what you want. I'm not gonna get what I want. And put something on paper, and we can take both candidates and say, look, we came bipartisan, Republicans and Democrats in the state. This is what we negotiated with. The person that's willing to side on this dotted line, that's
Right.
and it's like I want to do that so hard diligently, you know, because I think the community definitely these boys really need it. Like they really need it. Like I talked to so many young boys, you know, saying I got my son here.
No, actually, you can
look.
come on too. There's more mics.
Well, yeah, but
Well, she lives. She don't live here,
Oh.
so we have to do a live or
Yeah,
something with her. She has to come.
No, but I think
Let's
it would be
get together.
beneficial to the viewers and
Yep.
everything to actually talk about one thing.
And I can bring candidates.
And
I can
I'm
bring
saying-
any Republican candidate y'all want me to bring.
Oh, do it.
So you know,
Come with, they ain't gonna come up in
They
here.
gonna
But
Bring one next week. Bring one.
all right, let me see who available.
Bring
we're
one.
gonna talk about
No,
immigration.
I'm not, you know what? I ain't gonna say-
Immigration.
y'all heard this on here. I may bring Eric Humvee. He may run for governor. I don't know. We'll see.
Eric Humvee? Who just lost?
Yes.
Good luck.
You know what? I'm
I remember voting the other way against him.
Eric. You know what? I know Eric personally.
Now, Ashley, hold on, wait a minute, second.
What she said?
Philly got trashed up to the sky.
Oh
because
God,
of the
that's not
Democratic
this
mayor.
conversation.
Hold on real quick. Ashley, you know that is false. You know, that, come on now. We can't be just throwing stuff out.
She a Democrat?
No, she's a conservative, a black conservative.
Yeah, why did you just say that,
You
Ashley?
can't just throw stuff against the wall.
Why
and
would she
hopefully
say
it
that?
stick. Now, that's false. And the fact that we're calling these cities failed democratic cities, that's false. And that's
Majority of the
that's
cities-
another.
hold on.
That's a false.
Listen, we've been here for an hour and a half. Cut.
Y'all don't want me to
Cut.
go there.
Next
That's the
week.
next
Next
section.
week. Next
We're gonna
week.
talk
Next
next week,
week.
y'all.
Next week.
Hey, I just want
Make
to
sure
tell.
y'all like, comment. I mean,
Please,
y'all commented already.
like,
Like and
comment,
share. Like
share.
and share.
I thank
And tap
everyone.
back in next week for immigration talk.
Yeah, I thank everyone for coming. I love the dialogue. Thank you, my brother, for having
For sure.
the gumption and the nerve
Man,
and
we
the
come-
gall
Hey,
to come on this show. But we thank you. Next week, we're going to tune in. We're going to have another debate about immigration. So we're going to go there. So, hey, y'all. Thank y'all. Be blessed. Stay safe.
Stay safe out there, Milwaukee.
A conservative coming on with you? Like, yeah. Hey, you hilarious.
Play with y'all. You know, I'm gonna do my research.